What if the period of your life that feels the most empty is actually the period preparing you for the life you were meant to live? Nobody claps when you grow in silence. Nobody notices when you choose discipline over comfort. And sometimes, nobody even knows how hard you're trying. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Let me tell you about a young man named Elias. Elias lived at the far end of a quiet village. His home was small, his days were simple, and his evenings were usually silent. Every night, just before darkness covered the streets, Elias placed a lantern outside his front door. Not because someone had asked him to, not because people paid him. He simply liked knowing there was a little light somewhere in the darkness. But Elias had a problem. He believed his life was going nowhere. The people he once knew were busy building their own futures. Families gathered for dinner. Friends laughed together. And Elias? He came home to an empty room. At first, he fought against the loneliness. He visited neighbors. He offered to help people. He tried to stay around others as much as possible. But whenever the evening ended, he returned to the same silence. One night, sitting beside his lantern, he whispered, "Does any of this even matter?" Then something unexpected happened. An elderly carpenter who was passing through the village stopped near his house. The old man looked at the lantern. Then he looked at Elias. "You keep that light burning every night." Elias shrugged. "There's nobody here to see it." The carpenter smiled. "Maybe you're thinking about the wrong person." Those words stayed with Elias. The next morning, he made a decision. He would stop measuring his life by how many people noticed him. Instead, he would measure it by what he could improve. So he began with small things. A broken bench beside the road, a muddy walking path, an empty patch of land, a damaged sign near the village entrance. Nobody had hired him. Nobody had promised him anything. And most days, nobody even said thank you. Some people thought he was wasting his time. Why work so hard when nobody cares? Elias heard them, but he kept going, because something inside him had changed. He wasn't working for applause anymore. He was building something. Days became months. Months became years. The little trees grew. The walking path became easier to use. The repaired benches became resting places for travelers. And the lantern still appeared outside Elias's home every evening. But there were still nights when doubt returned. On those nights, he wondered, maybe they were right. Maybe none of this matters. Then he would look at the lantern. It didn't ask anyone to notice it. It simply continued doing what it was made to do. And Elias understood something. Maybe that was strength. Then one night, the village faced a problem no one had expected. A powerful storm swept across the valley. The roads disappeared beneath water. Visibility dropped. People became separated from their families. The usual landmarks were impossible to see, and the darkness became almost complete. Elias looked outside. His lantern was still burning. He grabbed it, wrapped his coat tightly around himself, and stepped into the storm. The flame was tiny. The storm was enormous. But that tiny flame was visible. One person saw it, then another, then a family. They began moving toward it. Elias kept walking. He remembered the path he had cleared years earlier, the path that nobody had cared about. Tonight, people needed it. The trees he had planted helped break the force of the wind. The benches he had repaired gave exhausted travelers places to rest. The path he had maintained gave people a safer route toward higher ground. And the lantern? It showed them where to go. The work Elias thought nobody noticed had quietly been preparing the village for this exact moment. By morning, the storm had passed. Everyone who had followed the light was safe. The villagers looked around. For years, they had seen Elias working alone. Now, they finally understood what he had been building. But Elias didn't feel proud because people were praising him. He felt something deeper. He finally understood his lonely years. They weren't meaningless. They had been preparation. The silence had taught him patience. The empty days had taught him discipline. The lack of recognition had taught him to keep going without applause. And the little lantern had taught him the most important lesson of all. You don't need an audience to make your life meaningful. Years later, Elias became an old man. One afternoon, a young boy asked him, "Why did you keep working when nobody noticed?" Elias looked toward the lantern. Then he smiled. "Because if I had stopped just because nobody was watching, I would have never discovered what my effort was capable of." The boy thought for a moment. "So the lantern was for other people?" Elias shook his head. "At first, I thought it was. Then I realized it was also for me. It reminded me that darkness doesn't disappear because someone promises to come. Sometimes, you have to become the light you were waiting for." That lesson is bigger than a story, because there may be a season in your life right now when nobody notices your progress. You're studying while others are relaxing. You're working while nobody congratulates you. You're rebuilding yourself while people think you're doing nothing. You're trying again after failure while everyone else only sees the result. Don't underestimate that season. The world often notices the result, but it rarely sees the preparation. A tree doesn't become strong on the day everyone sees its branches. It becomes strong underground first. So if your life feels quiet right now, don't automatically call it failure. Maybe you're learning. Maybe you're becoming stronger. Maybe you're building skills. Maybe you're developing the character you'll need for the next chapter. And maybe the work you're doing today will help someone tomorrow in ways you cannot imagine. So keep going, keep learning, keep improving, keep your standards high even when nobody is checking. And most importantly, don't let the absence of applause convince you that your effort has no value. Because one day, someone may walk through their darkest moment and discover that the light they needed was created during the years when you thought nobody cared. So here's the question I want you to answer. What is the one thing you're continuing to build, even though nobody is noticing yet? Write it in the comments. And remember, your quiet season isn't necessarily an empty season. Sometimes, it's where your strongest version is being built. If this message meant something to you, subscribe for more stories and lessons about discipline, growth, and becoming stronger when nobody is watching.